A dictator challenged in the streets, accusations of coup d'etat, and God is dead again. Just another quiet night here on The Map. On The Map tonight, cracks in Pakistan's dictatorship. We go behind the protests and look at Musharraf's delicate balancing act. My encounter with one of the world's best-known atheists and best-selling authors, Richard Dawkins on The Map. And coup d'etat in the Palestinian government. But who deposed whom? Hello, I'm Abhi Lewis. Welcome to On the Map. We begin tonight in Pakistan with a political crisis gripping the regime of President/General Pervez Musharraf, a man in whom the U.S. has invested a whole lot of money and political capital since 9/11. Mounting protests have sparked a flurry of shuttle diplomacy, with Pakistan's foreign minister visiting the White House over the weekend and a group of high-level U.S. diplomats dashing from Washington to Islamabad. With all this coming and going, it's a perfect time to take a closer look at Pakistan and the historic protests that are challenging the military government. It all started back in March, when Musharraf suspended the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Massive protests were met with armed pro-government supporters, and dozens were killed. Since then, the protests have continued, led by thousands of lawyers who are growing more confident and putting increasing pressure on the regime. The turmoil comes at a political crossroads for General Musharraf. He's received some $10 billion from the United States since 9/11, pretty much a straight payment for his allegiance, as the U.S. sees him as a bulwark against Islamic fundamentalism in the region. But at home, Musharraf has also cultivated what some call the military-mosque alliance. At a mosque in the center of Islamabad, a mullah has declared sharia law. The government remains silent. In the fight with the Taliban in Pakistan's northwestern provinces bordering Afghanistan, there are tens of thousands of Pakistani troops. Despite this, the Taliban are growing stronger and are now in control of whole towns. In the complex map of this key region, Musharraf plays a critical and contradictory role. To get deeper into it, I'm joined now by Aisha Siddiqa, author of Military Inc., Inside Pakistan's Military Economy. She's in London. Aisha, welcome to On the Map.
Thank you so much.
Let's start with this political crisis in Pakistan, which all started when General Musharraf removed the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. What can you tell us about how this crisis started and why the Chief Justice was removed in the first place?
Musharraf was wary of Chief Justice or anyone who could really stop his pre-poll and post-poll rigging. But then there were other people backed by the Prime Minister who didn't want to see the Chief Justice there, who had their financial vested interest, as we say.
What does that mean? Those are words that always intrigue me.
There was the steel mill case, there was the New Murray project, and there was a mini golf project in Islamabad. So there were these huge projects which had financial investment. Mm-hmm. And he was blocking it. You know, these capitalists did not want him there.
Now we're seeing this new sort of movement of lawyers in the streets, and we're seeing a lot of pictures of lawyers protesting, which is novel. But does this represent a new political force in Pakistan, a new democracy movement?
What lawyers are doing is a middle-class movement. Hope that, you know, it actually starts a tradition, a new political tradition in the country. But the fact is that you have these big political parties which are taking a back seat, which are not really being active. And there is no huge political movement. But then, you know, one could also argue that Pakistan has never had a huge political movement. So what's happening is extraordinary.
Let's talk a little bit about Musharraf's balancing act, portraying himself as the loyal ally of the United States, receiving $10 billion since 9/11, and at the same time having to accommodate his own political realities internally. I want to play you a clip from an interview on CNN by Wolf Blitzer of Pakistan's foreign minister, and to me this 30 seconds kind of crystallizes the conversation between the two countries. Let's play it for you and then I'll get your reaction.
How worried should the U.S. be that potentially your country and its nuclear arsenal could fall into the hands of Islamist terrorists?
No reason at all. Pakistan is a strong institution.
If President Musharraf goes down, though?
Well, he's not going to go down now, because why should he? Because he's done so many good things. Our economy is thriving. He's promised elections will be free and fair, and we'll go according to the mandate of the people.
So what's your reaction both to the question and the answer?
I don't think that extremists will take over Pakistan, definitely not in the short to medium term. The real danger lies in the long term. But right now I think the government is very consciously, I mean Musharraf included, has consciously played up to this threat to get American attention.
Blitzer's question seemed to summarize the whole version of Pakistan in the American media, that if we don't support this dictator, then something worse will happen. And it's very hard from this distance to judge whether that's realistic in any way. What do you think?
I mean, I'm sure you must have been hearing about this mosque and a religious seminary in the heart of the capital city, which has held the entire state hostage. The government can't do anything about it. But that is an event or an incident which the government is using. I mean, you go and talk to people in Islamabad, they'll tell you. It's been used as a diversion. But, really the relationship between the priest and the military remains intact. And the priest or religious extremism is going to, in fact, move into Pakistani society much more if the nature of the relationship between the state and society remains mainly undemocratic.
So in fact it's the flip side of what American commentators and politicians are telling themselves. If there was more democracy in Pakistan, you're arguing there would be a greater defense against fundamentalism.
Of course, and I think, the main problem is Americans really don't understand Pakistani politics.
In 6 months, Musharraf is supposed to either give up the political power or give up military power, and he's saying that he's going to have free and fair elections. We heard that from the Pakistani foreign minister. What do you think is going to happen 6 months from now?
Well, 6 months from now, one, he's not going to have fair elections. That's for sure, especially if he's there. The other thing is that who says? I mean, Americans are saying that he has said, but is there any written commitment? Is there any evidence to show that he will actually do it? I mean, comes December, end of this year, comes December 2007, this is the time till when he can continue wearing two hats. Now, if he's going to turn around and say, sorry, I'm not removing one of my hats, what can the international community do? There is a war going on. Pakistan is a nuclear weapon state. You cannot disengage from it. So I don't think that, and right now if you talk to the diplomatic circle in Islamabad, comes out very clearly that nobody really has an intent of pushing Musharraf, especially not on democracy.
Aisha Siddiqa, we're out of time, but thanks for being on The Map.
Thank you.